Michael Chandler has reignited one of the most anticipated sagas in modern UFC history by strongly suggesting that his long-awaited fight with Conor McGregor is finally on the verge of becoming reality. After years of speculation, delays, and setbacks, the matchup now appears most likely to take place this June at a historic UFC event reportedly planned for the White House South Lawn. For months, Conor McGregor has openly teased his return to the octagon, following a 5-year absence from competition. The former two-division champion has consistently pointed to a major summer comeback, aligning his plans with America's 250th anniversary celebration. According to ongoing discussions, the UFC is aiming to deliver one of the most ambitious fight cards ever assembled, with President Donald Trump publicly hyping the possibility of multiple championship bouts on a single night. MC Gregor has repeatedly named Michael Chandler as his preferred opponent. The two previously coached against each other on The Ultimate Fighter in 2023, where their rivalry helped generate massive attention and fan interest. Their originally scheduled fight at UFC 303 in 2024 was ultimately scrapped due to injuries and prolonged delays, leaving fans frustrated and uncertain about MC Gregor's future. Despite coming off a difficult stretch in his recent outings, Chandler remained one of the most explosive and entertaining lightweights in the sport, known for his relentless pressure and knockout power. Iron Michael has never shied away from high-stakes matchups. Now, he has taken the biggest hint yet, that the MC Gregor fight is not only alive, but imminent. Appearing live on national television during CBS's New Year's Eve broadcast, Chandler addressed the rumors directly. While stopping short of an official confirmation, he all but confirmed what MC Gregor has been claiming for months. Chandler spoke confidently about the UFC's future, highlighting its new long-term broadcast partnership with Paramount Plus and hinting at a massive summer showdown. With a smile and trademark bravado, Chandler suggested that he may soon be delivering a red, white, and blue beatdown to McGregor on one of the most iconic stages imaginable. The comments immediately went viral, further fueling speculation that the saga is nearing its conclusion. If finalized, Chandler versus McGregor would mark one of the most symbolic and talked about fights in UFC history. After years of build-up, false starts, and unanswered questions, the end of the road may finally be in sight. All that remains is for the octagon door to close and the fight to begin. The MMA world was thrown into chaos on New Year's Eve when UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira and flyweight contender Tracy Cortez unexpectedly went public with their relationship. The pairing instantly went viral, catching fans off guard due to the stark contrast between Pereira's quiet, stoic demeanor and Cortez's fiery personality. However, the news quickly pulled another familiar name back into the spotlight: Brian Ortega. Cortez is Ortega's former girlfriend, and their split in 2023 was far from smooth. At the time, both fighters shared cryptic social media posts that hinted at betrayal, broken trust, and lingering resentment. When Cortez's new relationship with Pereira became public, fans immediately flooded social media with memes suggesting Pereira had crossed an unspoken line. For Ortega, the situation cut deeper than most realized. What made the revelation especially uncomfortable was the fact that Ortega and Pereira were on good terms prior to this. The two fighters genuinely knew each other and had always shown mutual respect. They were both part of the UFC 303 event in 2024, staying at the same hotel and crossing paths throughout fight week. Ortega ultimately pulled out of his bout with Diego Lopes minutes before walkout, while Pereira went on to score a dominant knockout victory over Jiri Prochazka. Both fighters also shared a connection through language and culture, communicating fluently in Spanish and maintaining friendly interactions whenever they met. Just hours after the relationship news broke, Ortega posted an Instagram story that was quickly deleted. The message read, "Crazy how loyalty disappears when feelings get tested. We'll meet someday." The final line immediately raised eyebrows and was widely interpreted as a subtle threat. The post sparked intense discussion across the MMA community, with fans speculating about whether tensions between Ortega and Pereira could escalate further. Ortega is currently navigating a pivotal moment in his career. Coming off a tough loss to Aljamain Sterling, he has announced his move up to the lightweight division. He is now scheduled to rematch a familiar opponent, Renato Moicano, a fighter Ortega has previously finished. Despite recent setbacks, Ortega remains one of the most dangerous submission specialists in the sport. Following their fight, Sterling defended his performance against Ortega, pushing back against critics who attempted to downplay the win. He emphasized Ortega's durability, experience, and championship pedigree, noting that few fighters have ever finished him. Sterling argued that defeating a proven contender like Ortega carried far more weight than highlight reel knockouts over lesser-known opponents. As emotions continue to simmer and storylines collide, all eyes remain on Ortega, Pereira, and what comes next in this unexpected MMA drama. The UFC officially entered a new era as 2026 kicked off, with the launch of its groundbreaking broadcast deal on Paramount. The 7-year agreement, reportedly valued at $7.7 billion, marks the end of the traditional pay-per-view model. Every numbered event and fight night is now included with a standard subscription, signaling a major shift in how fans consume the sport. And almost immediately, one of the UFC's most talked-about contenders stepped forward to push for the biggest possible fight to headline this new chapter. Irish welterweight Ian Garry has once again made his intentions crystal clear. After rebounding from his first career loss to Shavkat Rakhmonov, Garry delivered dominant victory over Carlos Prates and Belal Muhammad, re-establishing himself as a top contender in the division. With momentum back on his side, Garry has renewed his call-out of reigning welterweight champion and pound-for-pound standout Islam Makhachev. In a recent interview, Garry laid out his case for why this matchup is not only deserved, but essential for the division. He emphasized the difficult path he has taken to reach the top, stating that he chose the toughest opponents available and consistently proved himself under pressure. According to Garry, no other fight at welterweight combines competitive merit, star power, and global intrigue in the same way. Garry believes the clash of styles alone would captivate fans. Makhachev represents relentless dominance, discipline, and championship composure, while Garry brings confidence, charisma, and an undefeated mindset that continues to divide opinion. Together, Garry argues, they form the most marketable and compelling title fight the division can offer. Beyond the rankings and resumes, Garry also highlighted the deeper narrative driving his call-out. He framed the matchup as the next chapter in the storied rivalry between Ireland and Dagestan, a storyline that first captivated the MMA world through Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. In Garry's view, this is not just a fight between two elite athletes, but a symbolic passing of the torch to the next generation. Unapologetic in his belief, Garry declared that he has fought the hardest road, beaten the toughest competition, and earned his place at the front of the line. As the UFC moves into a bold new era, Garry sees himself standing opposite the pound king in a fight that could define the welterweight division for years to come. Alex Pereira wasted no time responding to critics who have questioned his focus and commitment to the sport. In recent weeks, some fans and analysts suggested that Pereira might be slowing down at 38 years old, pointing to his time away from competition, public appearances, acting projects, and vacation photos as signs that his priorities may be shifting. Rather than addressing the criticism with words, the reigning champion chose to let his actions speak for him. On New Year's Day, Pereira released raw training footage straight from the gym, sending a clear message that he remains fully locked in. The clip shows Pereira dominating a training partner on the mats, controlling positions, throwing him around with ease, and imposing his will in a way that immediately reminded fans why he is considered one of the most intimidating fighters in mixed martial arts. The intensity and physicality on display made it clear that Pereira is not taking any days off, even during the holiday period. The footage quickly sparked strong reactions across the MMA community. Many fans praised Pereira for his relentless work ethic, highlighting the contrast between his dedication and the holiday downtime most people were enjoying. Supporters called it the mark of a true champion, someone willing to grind when others are resting. However, not all reactions were positive. Some critics argued that the footage appeared unnecessary, claiming Pereira was mocking a less experienced or physically inferior training partner, instead of showcasing high-level preparation. Regardless of the criticism, the clip reinforced Pereira's unapologetic personality and competitive mindset. As the debate continues, Pereira's future remains one of the most intriguing storylines in the sport. He has made it clear that his long-term goal is a permanent move to heavyweight, with a legacy-defining super fight against Jon Jones at the top of his wish list. However, Jones' uncertain timeline and Tom Aspinall's extended absence due to serious eye injuries have left the heavyweight division in a state of limbo. Because of that, speculation has grown around more immediate possibilities. Many believe Pereira could jump straight into heavyweight title contention, potentially competing for a full championship or an interim belt. A matchup against Cyril Gane has emerged as a particularly realistic and exciting option to keep the division moving. On paper, Pereira versus Gane would be a dream striking matchup. Pereira brings devastating leg kicks, a thunderous left hook, and a patient, long-range approach that breaks opponents down before finishing them violently. Across from him, Gane offers elite footwork, lightning-fast combinations, and some of the most refined kickboxing the heavyweight division has ever seen. If it happens, it would be one of the most technically fascinating striking battles in MMA history. UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall has sent a clear message to the promotion as he continues his recovery from a serious and highly controversial setback. Before any return to competition can be discussed, Aspinall must fully recover from not one but two eye surgeries following his disastrous bout with Cyril Gane last October. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his timeline, the champion remains firm in his belief that unfinished business awaits. The fight with Gane quickly became one of the most talked about heavyweight contests of the year after Aspinall absorbed multiple eye pokes that damaged both of his eyes. What was initially expected to lead to an immediate rematch instead turned into months of medical evaluations and difficult decisions. It was eventually confirmed that the fouls caused enough damage to require surgical intervention on both eyes, forcing the champion to step away from competition. Recently appearing on a one-on-one MMA interview show, Aspinall opened up about his situation and made it clear that he refuses to rush his recovery. He emphasized that while his desire to return is strong, his long-term health must come first. According to Aspinall, he will not allow ego or external pressure to push him back into the cage before his body is fully ready. He explained that every aspect of his recovery must be right before he even considers stepping back into training or fight preparation. Aspinall also reflected on the public reaction to the injury, acknowledging that many questioned the severity of the eye damage in the early stages. He described the experience as a learning moment, saying it revealed how quickly criticism can surface online. While he felt compelled to update fans who genuinely support him, Aspinall stressed that he does not feel obligated to justify his injury to anyone else. He knows what happened, what he felt in the cage, and what he continues to feel during recovery. The champion has since confirmed that he has already undergone one eye surgery, with a second procedure scheduled to take place this January. When asked about a potential return date, Aspinall once again declined to provide specifics, reiterating that his sole focus right now is healing and taking the process step by step. Despite the cautious approach, Aspinall did not shy away from making his intentions clear. He stated that the ultimate plan remains to return and settle the score with Cyril Gane in emphatic fashion. While the MMA world waits patiently for updates, the tension surrounding a potential rematch continues to grow. If and when Aspinall returns at full strength, the bad blood surrounding this rivalry will only make the second fight even more compelling.